Hello. We're going to continue with 4.1 and try a couple of word problems that are part of that section. Let's put the date, Thursday, April the 30th, last day in April. Okay, example 1. A golf ball is chipped up into the air. The path of the ball is modeled by the equation y equals, you could read that, where y represents the height of the ball in meters and x represents the horizontal distance that the ball has traveled in meters. What is the maximum height of the ball? How far has the ball traveled when it reaches its maximum height? And what was the height of the ball when it was chipped? Okay, these two questions have something in similar. The use of the word maximum. Okay, whenever we see the word maximum, okay, so since, let's do A and B, okay, since we see maximum, okay, we need vertex form, okay, since to give us the maximum, which is equal to k in y equals a x minus h squared plus k. Okay? So it says that they've got an equation here. Okay? So we're going to use y equals negative 0.25 x minus 3 squared plus 2.25. Notice I haven't paid much attention to anything except the fact that they're talking about maximums, okay? In order to know more about the question, I really should pause and maybe think a little bit about what they've said. So it says the path of the ball is modeled by the equation where y represents the height of the ball. So y is height of ball, okay, in meters, and x represents horizontal distance the ball has traveled, okay, and x represents the horizontal distance the ball has traveled. Okay, so if I go to A, what is the maximum height of the ball? Well, the height of the ball in meters is y. The maximum height is k, right? If I want the maximum height of the ball, I need to know what k is, okay? When I say how far the ball has traveled when it reaches its maximum height, well, how far the ball has traveled is h. Okay? So if the phrase is max something, okay, what is the max, and then it describes it, okay, it's always going to be k. And then if it has a little bit of a description here, how far has the ball traveled when it reaches, okay, when it reaches maximum height, you need to know the h value that belongs to the vertex when k is the maximum, right? So when we use the equation here and we need the vertex form, okay, we can say that h is 3 and k is 2.25. So since h is 3 and K is 2.25. Therefore, H, which we know is the same as X, and K we know is the same as Y. Okay? So we know that X is the horizontal distance. X is the horizontal distance the ball has traveled when Y, the height of the ball, is at its maximum. So therefore, let's move this down a little bit. So therefore, the horizontal distance is 3 meters when the ball has reached a max height of 2.25 meters. Okay, so that's A and B done right at the same time. Okay, so C. What was the height of the ball when it was chipped? So what was the height of the ball when it was chipped? Okay. What was the height of the ball? That's the question, okay? The qualifying statement is when it was chipped, okay? So what controls the height of the ball? Okay, go back up here. Y represents the height of the ball. So what is asking us for the Y value? When it was chipped, well, the only thing that's left is X. What do we know about X when you're chipping the ball? You know that X represents the horizontal distance that the ball has traveled. Well, when you're chipping the ball, there's no horizontal distance yet. So when it was chipped, that means X is equal to 0. Okay? So sub X equals 0 into Y equals negative 0.25 X minus 3 squared plus 2.25. Okay? So X is going to become 0. 0 minus 3 squared plus 2.25. We're solving for Y, which is already on its own side to the left of the equal, so we're going to follow BEDMAS. Now, we can find what 0 minus 3 is. That's the brackets, so that's negative 3. We then can do exponents. Okay, so negative 3 squared is 9. And negative 0.25 times 9 has to be done before adding. So we multiply those. So 0.25, which is negative, times 9, which is what we were asked to do, is negative 2.25. Add 2.25, and therefore you have 0. So the answer is, what is the height of the ball? What is Y? Y is 0. Therefore, the ball has a height of 0 meters when it was chipped. Okay? All right. Let's keep going. Example 2. A startup company sells t-shirts. Their profit is modeled by Y equals the equation, where Y represents their profit in dollars and X represents the number of t-shirts sold. What is their maximum profit? Okay, here we've got that max word there. Okay? So the maximum can only be found by knowing K. K is the maximum. Okay? how many t-shirts must be sold to maximize, okay, so how many t-shirts must be sold, okay, when this K is happening? Well, K only happens when we know H, the other part of the vertex. So therefore we need H. So what we're really being asked for in A and B, we need to know K, and we need to know H. Well, therefore we need the vertex. H coming first, K coming second. So use vertex form. Is vertex form given? Yes. Y equals negative bracket x minus 40 squared plus 1090. Okay, so compare it to y equals a, x minus h squared plus k. We do our looping like we did in the earlier units. We always say, remember that the sign of h changes when it comes out of the bracket. So if it's negative 40, comes out, it becomes positive. K does not change its sign, okay? So what is h in vertex form? It's the same as x. What is k in vertex form? It's the same as y. Okay? So what is the maximum profit? We need to know what k is. Okay, so that's the maximum profit. How many t-shirts must be sold to maximize their profit? That's the t-shirts. So therefore, 40 t-shirts must be sold to earn a max profit of 1090. Okay, so that's A and B together. Okay, C is on its own. Okay, it says how many t-shirts are sold if they make a profit of. Notice there's no word maximum and there's no word like minimum. Okay, so how many t-shirts must be sold if they make a profit of $1? Okay, so I'm going to show you a method that has helped students in the past. It's called the guess method. So for C, we're going to use guess. Oops. Okay, so every letter stands for a step. Okay, so G is what's been given. Okay, so we were given y equals negative bracket x minus 40 squared plus 1090. We were told that y was the profit in dollars. So y is profit in dollars. We were also told that x, so y is profit in dollars. X is the number of t-shirts. So x is number of t-shirts. Okay, U in guess is the unknown. What are they asking for? So they're saying how many t-shirts? How many t-shirts? Okay, as soon as we talk about the number of t-shirts, we have to think of X. So how many t-shirts is X is what we're finding, okay? If they make a profit of $1, if they make a profit of $1. Now, making a profit is the Y. So therefore, Y is equal to $1. So we need to know what X is, but we already know what Y is 1. Okay, so GUE, equation. Well, to find X equals question mark given y equals 1, use any of the three equations, but we prefer standard form. But we'll take what we've got, right? So standard form looks like y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, okay? Because it's already multiplied out. But that's okay, because in this case, we don't have standard form. We only have the vertex form. That's okay. So S, the solution, we're going to take, okay, so GUES, solution, going to take what's been given, what we have to find in the unknown, and the equation, okay? So we're going to take what's been given, y equals negative bracket x minus 40 squared plus 1090. We're going to sub, okay, we're going to sub that value, sub y equals 1 into this equation. $1 is equal to negative bracket x minus 40 squared plus 1090. Okay, now there's something important. Note to self. To find x in a quadratic, okay, we need standard form in order to get factored form. That's our goal. Okay, factored form. Okay, we don't have factored form here. We don't have a bunch of anything. Okay, so let's rewrite the 1. Negative bracket x minus 40, when it's squared, we're going to expand. Okay, plus 1090. Okay, 1 equals negative bracket. X times x is x squared. X times negative 40 is negative 40x. Negative 40 times x is negative 40x. And negative 40 times negative 40 is 1600 plus 1090. Okay, so what, I'm going to have to go to the next side of the page. Okay, so we have 1 equals negative bracket x squared minus 40x minus 40x plus 1600 plus 1090. Okay. All right, so we're expanding. So let's collect like terms. That's an x there. Okay, so 1 equals negative 1 x squared minus 80x plus 1600 plus 1090. Okay, we're still expanding to get standard form. Equals negative 1 times x squared is negative 1x squared. Negative 1 times negative is positive 80x. Negative 1 times positive is negative 1600. And then because we're done our multiplication, okay, because we've done our multiplication there, right, we have to then drop the brackets and then add 1090. Okay, we still have the 1 here on the left side, right? So 1 is equal to, rewrite the negative 1x squared, rewrite these, 80, and then it looks like, what are we going to have? 210, I think. Oh, I feel like I'm off. Ooh, oh, I'm really off. Negative 510. Ooh, it's good I checked that. My goodness. Okay, so I'm going to check that again. Okay, there we go. All right, so here, to solve for x in a quadratic relation, we must factor, then solve for x. Okay? But we have to move everything to one side. Okay? So we've got to move everything to one side. So when we move this over, okay, it's going to go over here. Now, I want to stop it for one second. What if we moved everything over to this side? And the reason I'm asking is because this is a negative, we could be dealing with a positive x squared. And I really like that idea. So what if we moved everything over here, because that would make this x squared positive, and that makes our life a whole much simpler. Okay, so this negative 1x squared goes to the other side, so it becomes positive 1x squared. This positive 80x becomes negative 80x squared. This negative 510 becomes positive 510. The 1 still stays, and then we're equal to 0. Okay, so we can drop the positive 1, so x squared minus 80x plus 511 equals 0. Now we're ready. This is a 1, okay? So since a is equal to 1, therefore we have a simple trinomial back in unit 2, okay? A simple trinomial. So remember, this is ax squared plus bx plus c. So what multiplies to c and adds to b, okay? So what multiplies to 511 and adds to negative 80. Okay, that's not a very nice number. Okay, so 511. Let's see if we can divide it. I know it's not going to divide by 2 because it doesn't end in an even number. It won't divide by 3 because 5 plus 1 plus 1 is 7, and 7 is not divisible by 3. But if I didn't know any of that, I could just go like this. 511 divided by 2 doesn't work. 511 divided by 3 doesn't work. 511 divided by 4 doesn't work. 511 divided by 5 doesn't work. 511 divided by 6 doesn't work. 511 divided by 7, ooh, works with 73. I'm liking that. Okay, so 5, it doesn't work with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, but it does work with 7. Okay, so then we say, all right, if I want to multiply to get a positive 511, but I have to add to get a negative, the only way to get a negative in the sum, okay, is to add negative numbers. If I put this a negative and I make this a negative, okay, I can multiply these to get a positive 511, and then if I add them, I get negative 80, okay? So therefore, that's the one we want. So therefore, we're going to use negative 7 and negative 73, use negative 7, negative 73, and we're going to have negative 7 in the one bracket and negative 73 in the other bracket. That's our factored form. And then we break this up and we go x minus 7 equals 0 and x minus 73 equals 0. And now we want to solve for x. So the opposite of taking 7 away is adding 7 on both sides. These cancel out, so we get x equals 7. The opposite of subtracting 73 is adding 73 on both sides. They cancel out, x is equal to 73. Okay, so these are the values that answer the question over here. How many t-shirts X if they make a profit of $1? So the answer here is our last S in our guess is our sentence. Okay. Since X equals 7 and X equals 73, okay, therefore they'd need to sell 7